All right. Cable companies. So, cable companies, I don't know if they did themselves a disservice by offering internet only. It's been, oh gosh, years, like 10, 12 years since I've had cable. Like years. And it's expensive. And Netflix is what, 14, even if it's $20 a month, because I mean they're going to keep raising the price by increments anyway, so whatever. Even if it's $20 a month, it's still cheaper than $105 for 9 HBO channels with the same movie on it. So it's like, on Sunday morning, how many times do I want to see Balto? Do I want to see it on HBO 1, HBO 2, HBO 3? You're all showing Balto? Why? But as the old song goes, video killed the radio star. So when TV came, radio disappeared. When CDs came, cassette tapes and 8-tracks disappeared. Now, mind you, they have, you know, vintage things that come back again, like bell-bottom pants were once called flares. You know, that was the new thing. And then now they have cassette tape converters where you can convert things into cassette tapes and play them in your CD player and all that kind of thing. And Atari gave way to Nintendo. Pac-Man gave away to Call of Duty. And things change, you know. And cable is slowly dying to streaming services. So is CDs. You know, music or musicians back in the day used to count their success by how many CDs they sold. They can't do that anymore because people don't buy CDs like that anymore. Now you can just go online, buy one song for $1.99 and leave the rest. So, if video killed the radio star, will Netflix and Hulu and Disney is going to come out with their own because they took all their movies off of Netflix. And Hallmark, the Hallmark channel, they have one as well. I think it's like $4.99 a month. And everybody has a streaming service now. HBO is keeping up. They have HBO Go. So if you only want HBO, that's all you have to buy. You don't even have to buy cable. Just HBO Go, boom, you got it. So, did video kill the radio star? Is Netflix going to kill cable like it killed Blockbuster Video? I've had a rumor there's one left in the world, one Blockbuster Video, which I am unsure as of why. Even if for nostalgia purposes, why would you have a Blockbuster Video? Who the hell has a Blockbuster card anymore? But anyway. Cable companies, will you lose to streaming services? Queen of Swords, that tells me no already because this is the law. This is usually my lady of the law, so this is the law. Which means they will always have a lobby. Obama hired one of the cable execs to be like the head of telecommunications or something like that. He worked for Time Warner, so inside man. So they will always have an intricacy. They will always have a weave into the government to where they will never truly die. The Queen of Wands. There is action. I think that's the Page of Cups. It's the Knave of Cups. I don't know what that is. That's going to have to be the lower cup. So yeah. The Knave of Cups. So there is a emotional interest. It's emotional news. So there is an investment. But I think they go after the freshman class first. But this is also telling me millennials are not necessarily cable people. And neither is Generation Exoplanet. I don't know if it's Z or X, so I'm going to call them Exoplanet. Generation Exoplanet, they are also not cable people. Knight of Swords. Rushing head, that's swift energy. Ace of Swords. Yeah. You leave it up to Generation Exoplanet and Millennials, then cable is going to have a hard time. They will never go away because they are embedded in our law. But they're going to have a hard time. Because the world will shape its needs around the needs and demands of Generation Exo and then Millennials. They are going to sort of call the shots on that one and say, well, what we really want is something that does this, and then next thing you know, companies are going to have to respond. Just like podcasts. Podcasts are a big thing right now. These are basically radio shows you can listen to everywhere. On your phone, on your TV, if you have the Pandora thing and all that, you can listen to them everywhere. I watch one on YouTube. So it's you know, podcast is the way of the future. So Apple has a podcast service. Spotify has a podcast service. All these different people have podcast services because that's the wave of the future. Mind you, like I said, old things just become new again. All old things become new again. Radio is the same thing as podcasts. It's just that you can take it everywhere. This is sort of that Generation Exo and Millennial thing. Queen of Pentacles. There's a lot of female empowerment energy. So there's a lot of women in charge. These are not just people there. These are influencers. Seven of Wands is in the fear, the lack of defense probably, or the need to defend because the video killed the radio star. So when you need to defend, it's because someone's on your heels. And your hopes, the Knave of Wands. So good news. That's, you hope for good news. Of course you do. The Death card is in your environment. What's behind the scenes? Two of Swords. Yep, makes sense. In your environment, cable companies, everything changes. If it doesn't change, it dies. And even when it dies, it changes. Change is inevitable. It is not something you can escape. Everything changes. How is the fight? How it changes is the conversation. The Two of Swords is about a deadlock. Which way do we go? Do we stay with the $130 a month cable service and then the box that you have to rent from us? And then we have to come to your house between 9 o'clock and 9 o'clock next week. And we're not going to tell you when we're going to show up. We're just going to be knocking on the door one day. I hope you're not in the bathroom. So here is your word of warning. Ten of Swords, a total loss. Makes sense. Video killed the radio star. Netflix killed Blockbuster. Do not think they're not going to come for you. Hulu is not quite there on the terms of, or on the same stage as Netflix, but Hulu is your alternative to cable when you want TV shows. So when when Disney comes out with their thing, Disney owns half the world. They own ABC, Marvel, all these little Disney things that Star Wars, like they own a lot of stuff. So all of the Marvel superheroes, the X-Men, the Iron Mans, the Incredible Hulk, the Wonder Woman's Justice League. So all these little things that they own ABC. So every show that you see on ABC is under the Disney umbrella. They own all that stuff. Cable companies. Now, AT&T just bought HBO. So they're trying to get into that whole streaming service thing. So they have to keep up. But I don't know what Warner Brothers or Time Warner is doing. I don't know what Verizon's going to do. I don't know what's the other big one? Comcast. I don't know what they're going to do. But you got to get on the streaming services because your word of warning is everything changes. Remember, this is in your environment. Everything does change. And if you do not want to lose everything, you had better change with the times. The King of Swords is your word of solace. So a man in charge, like you will always be connected to the loss. Whatever. There's 1,000 people in this reading. And then your outcome is the Ace of Wands, a new action and a new idea. You listen to what I just said. I shall not steer you wrong, cable company. YouTube is owned by Google. YouTube is a streaming service. Video on demand, that's what we want. We want it, when I hit the click and the play button, I want whatever I want it to play. I don't want to wait till Thursday to watch something. I want whatever I just pushed to play. Streaming is the way of the future. Cable, if you do not get behind it, if you do not get in front of it, if you do not get on side of it, if you do not get all up in this thing, video killed the radio star.